What is going on, wrestling fans? I haven't came to you in a long time with a video, but I decided that, it's time for me to get away from, or I should say, come back to the YouTube world. So WWE at Home 219 is here. Follow me on Twitter at Let's Talk _ WWE, and we're going to get in here with the Night of Champions review. Overall impressions going into the show was that I was pretty impressed with the match card, actually. I was pretty intrigued. I obviously didn't watch it live because the Packers were playing on Sunday Night Football. Ended up beating the Seahawks. Go, Pack, go. But I did watch it afterwards, so let's get into this review. First off, pre-show match, I was actually watching live because the Packers game didn't start yet. It wasn't really much. The Cosmic Wasteland team, which is Stardust and the Ascension, faced off against Neville and the Lucha Dragons. It wasn't a terrible matchup, but I mean, come on, how can you be really that interested in this feud? This Neville and Stardust stuff has been going on even before SummerSlam happened. So overall, the Cosmic Wasteland team did win this matchup. It wasn't that exciting. I'd give it a C plus. Not like I said, not much interest at all with this feud whatsoever. So then to start off the show, we had the Intercontinental Championship match. My boy Kevin Owens was taking on Ryback. And I was hoping for a Kevin Owens victory. I predicted Kevin Owens victory on Twitter, and that's exactly what we got. And it wasn't a typical win, but it was pretty interesting throughout the matchup. Kevin Owens wasn't really doing all his fancy moves like the rolling sentons and stuff like that, the cannonballs, whatnot, because Ryback's a bigger guy, and it's hard to do those kind of moves. So he was basically just attacking the arm the whole entire time. Owens ended up winning via pinfall, like I said. It was a pretty solid matchup, and I think the IC title is good for Owens. I think he's only going to go up from here. Overall, I'd give the matchup a B-, like I said. It wasn't that bad, and I'm a big Kevin Owens supporter, and I think that putting the IC title on him was the right move. Then we had a continuation of a pretty long feud. Another one of these long feuds is Rusev versus Dolph Ziggler. Lana obviously not there because she did something to her arm. Summer Rae was ringside, and Dolph Ziggler ended up getting the win because Summer Rae would throw her heel at Rusev accidentally, and then Ziggler would win with the zigzag. It wasn't a terrible matchup. I haven't been too invested in this feud. Really haven't been invested in WWE that much as I used to. That's probably why I'm not coming out with videos that much, because I used to watch SmackDown, I used to watch Main Event. Now I really am only tuning into NXT and Raw, and then obviously the pay-per-views. But back to the matchup, fans didn't really seem too interested in it whatsoever. Like I said, Ziggler picks up the win. Wasn't too bad. I'd give this one a B- as well. It's nice to see Ziggler's actually not being buried even more. The next matchup was for the tag titles. The New Day taking on the return of the Dudleys. This would be their first title match since coming back to WWE, looking for their 10th WWE Tag Team Championship. But they would not be able to get that because the Dudleys would win via disqualification. This is smart because I don't think it's time for the Dudleys to win the titles. You got to prolong this feud with the New Day. It's really entertaining feud. The New Day is really over right now as a great heel, funny comedy act that they have going on. Xavier Woods ringside is it's just genius. Overall, the match was nothing visually impressive. There wasn't really much to it. I'd give the match itself a C, but I agree with the decision not to give the belts to the Dudleys yet. Makes sense to prolong this feud, so we'll see where it goes from there. Next up, we had Charlotte versus Nikki Bella, another one of these matches where I really wasn't impressed with the wrestling ability. They made Nikki Bella look very dominant throughout this matchup. Nikki was basically targeting Charlotte's knee the whole time. A lot of people seem to like this matchup. I personally don't. I don't see the point of having the Bellas in the main event view. That's just stupid. I think it's time for the Divas Revolution to be in full effect. Give me a Paige and Charlotte feud. I think Paige is going to turn heel. Might even be tonight. Who knows? But Charlotte would end up winning her first Divas title. Good for her. She's well deserving of it. She's worked very hard. She's good in the ring. Could be better on the mic. But overall, I'd give the match a C+, and it's nice to see that Nikki Bella is not holding the Divas Championship anymore. Next up, we'd have the Wyatt family taking on Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and a mystery opponent, and that opponent would end up being Chris Jericho, Y2J. Makes sense. Y2J's had a past with the Wyatts. Overall, this matchup was pretty solid. The Wyatts ended up picking up the victory, which is also smart. They made Jericho the one that passed out, and the submission was by Braun Strowman, the new member of the Wyatt family. Overall, it's a pretty solid matchup. I'd give it a B. And once again, I feel like this feud is going to continue. Now, I don't think Jericho is going to be a part of this feud. I think Jericho was just a temporary wrestler for this, because we did see after the matchup Jericho kind of shoulder Dean Ambrose and walk away from those two. So I feel like the Wyatts were going to continue to attack Roman and Dean. So we'll see if that continues on Monday Night Raw. Then the two main events, Seth Rollins was obviously involved in both of these. He had a United States Championship matchup versus John Cena. And in my personal opinion, this was the match of the night. This was the only match that I really thought was a really good matchup. I think Cena and Rollins have had great matches. Overall, I think this is Cena's best wrestling year of his career, and Rollins is obviously one of the best and most talented in-ring performers and on the mic in the WWE today. Overall, Cena picks up the win. I'd give the matchup an A. I thought it was pretty flawless. It's always cool to see Rollins and Cena go at it. I think this ends the feud of them for the United States title, so hopefully that's the case, and maybe Cena can face a new challenger. We'll see. So then in the main event, which was right afterwards, was Sting versus Seth Rollins. Obviously, Seth Rollins a little banged up, especially since John Cena AA'd him twice, and one of those times was right before the matchup against Sting. The matchup between Sting and Rollins wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Sting ended up suffering a neck injury, and the match had to be kind of ended short. And Seth Rollins would actually pick up the roll-up cover, which was very shocking. I thought Sting would walk away and get cashed in on. They did tease a cash-in after the matchups. Sheamus would come out, but then Kane came out. I don't know where Kane made his return, and he was wearing his mask and everything. So I guess the mask Kane is back, and maybe Kane's in line for a title shot. I'm not really too thrilled about that. But Kane is a good in-ring worker, and he's been putting over talent for years now, so I guess he kind of deserves it. I'm really interested in what they're going to do now, since I heard that Sting's neck injury could be career-threatening, so who knows what's going to happen with that. So in that matchup between Sting and Seth Rollins, I'd give it a B. It wasn't too bad, and the ending was very interesting, so to say. I wasn't expecting it. Overall, I would give Night of Champions probably a 6.5 out of 10, which is a D. And I wasn't too thrilled about it. The in-ring wrestling was nothing too special here. Night of Champions decision making of who was going to win, that was kind of smart. I was a fan of that. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do on Monday Night Raw tonight. So please tell me what you think below about Night of Champions, and let me know if I should continue to make videos, because I don't want to keep making videos if nobody's going to watch it. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and take it easy.